Many of us gaze at our Steam libraries, swollen with sale bundles and wistful indies we can't recall buying, and think that maybe, just maybe, we don't need any more 120-hour open world games. That maybe we should actually get around to installing The Witcher 2 before we start asking the dark gods for more games we'll never have time to play. And there are people who rightly explain that PC gamers are very well served when it comes to life-devouring adventures and sprawling RPGs, that surely nobody would have the arrogance or the stupidity to sit at a pretend desk and demand an entire 7-game series about organised crime in Japan be ported to PC, as if that was a simple or reasonable thing to ask for. Well, to those people, I say hold my cup of tea. Right now, there's a rich, impeccably dressed gap in our collective Steam libraries, one which can only be filled by the Yakuza series. And with Sega bringing console classics such as Vanquish and Bayonetta to PC, and the original Yakuza getting a handsome remake on PS4, there's never been a smarter time to port the series. If you've never played a Yakuza game, this is me cornering you like a gloomy uncle at a family party, trying to alter your preconceptions about the series. Just pretend it's 2002 and I'm trying to force you to watch The Wire. And if you've already played it, why not pour yourself a Yamazaki, sit back and enjoy some Yakuza greatest hits. Feel free to clap along in the background, shake your tambourine and join in whenever you know the words.
Everybody salute of love!
Here are 7 reasons Yakuza needs to come to PC. Number 1, it's more than just a crime game. Now that sounds like an outrageous lie because it's obviously about crime. Breaking out of prison is a crime, cooking your enemies is a crime, salting someone's eyeballs is most definitely a crime. But these are things that happen during Yakuza rather than the exclusive focus of it. Many stories involve people trying to escape their criminal past or build a better future for themselves. It doesn't have the cynicism or the collateral damage of something like GTA, for example.
Take it out!
Yes, a significant portion of your time will be spent reaving loins or yanking out teeth, but only to people who ask for it. I paid for my law degree about 17 years ago, and I'm fairly certain assault is legal if they said your clothes were rubbish first. And even the name is misleading. The Japanese title translates to the cooler, more expressive Like a Dragon. In contrast, the title Yakuza feels a little bit like changing the name of Once Upon a Time in America to Baddies. But does any of this actually matter? Well, if the thought of Yakuza being gritty or bleak ever put you off, this is a wonderful excuse to go back and give it a try. I promise that as a series, it's far more likely to make you laugh than it is win. Just ignore that bit. I know it's odd to come back to It's Nice after I've showed you footage of a man being force-fed a mystery liquid, but honestly, this is a warm, funny, reflective series. For every evil character out to serve their own ends, there's a powerfully moral one to counterbalance them. And even when they find themselves in brutal or unrelatable situations, most of the characters in Yakuza follow a code that gives everything a glow of decency. It's inspiring enough that I look for parallels in my own life, even if my code is more of a manifesto on the correct use of a shoehorn and a pledge to include Dark Souls in every list feature I ever write, including this one. Yakuza goes out of its way to make these hardened criminals likeable. The games are full of random side stories, and nearly all of them involve you helping the meek or the hopeless. Convicted murderer Saejima, for example, dresses up as Father Christmas to assist someone being menaced by a gang of Santa hunters. And the legendary Yakuza Kiryu Kazama helps a beleaguered chef cook ramen to the correct noodle consistency. Now, I could try and say something clever here about how this is a metaphor for the game itself, and how the characters, like the game, have hidden depths you only find when you take the time to explore. But truthfully, I just like being nice to strangers in games because it makes me feel better about myself. Why yes, of course I'll help you fool your father into thinking we're dating. I mean, why on earth wouldn't I? It's not like I've got anything more important to do. This leads me nicely to point number 3, the characters. People who seem like instinctive criminals have a degree of depth and subtlety, and the series is incredible at teasing out these traits over the course of a game. You love them more because you spend so much time with them. Over the past year, for example, I've spent more hours with crumpled moneylender Shun Akiyama than I have with my own family. Hello, Mum. No, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it back for your birthday. No, I'm out debt collecting and then I'm off to the Hostess Club after that. You know, the Hostess Club where the lonely old men go to talk to nice ladies for money? It's a bit like the Samaritans in high heels and an evening dress. Over time, you'll begin to care about the collective fates of these oddball heroes. You watch Haruka grow up, and you even participate in her dream of becoming a pop idol. You watch Saijima's outlook change as he finds out the truth about his past. And once you're invested in the cast, seeing characters you love interact is a real treat. Like a thoughtful crossover featuring all your favourite TV shows. Provided, of course, your favourite shows are The Sopranos, Pop Idol, and something with lots of kicking. You might think your investment in the characters would be undermined by them doing stupid nonsense, but if anything, it just makes you love them more. It's precisely because I know them so well that seeing a different side to their personalities is so resonant. Of course I want to see Saijima singing a ballad lamenting the lost relationship with his feeble dojo partner. And I love helping total strangers propose to their partners via crossword, the least romantic of all the word puzzles. 14 down, 8 letters, a union of two people or a combination of elements. Alliance. It's alliance, isn't it? Why are you crying? It's because you've seen the grand narrative of the game that these moments feel so intimate and precious. And Yakuza always finds legitimate reasons to shelve whatever life-threatening quest you're currently on. There are almost too many sub-stories to choose from, but my own favourite involves a spandex-wearing superhero powered by curry who reduces every decision to a choice between being spicy or being mild. It's not so much a side quest as a design for life. Always be spicy, kids. If the last entry made Yakuza sound frivolous, this one is about how deep, nourishing and twisty the stories are. Now I'm not going to spoil too much here because it's best you discover these for yourself, but the short version is that no revelation is too outrageous, no meta story too absurd. There's always an underlying theme which defines each game. Yakuza 5, for example, is about following your dreams. It's a bit like Frozen with suplexes and noodles. I haven't actually seen Frozen. The series takes place over decades, not years, and it's hard not to be moved by characters who have their time and aspirations cruelly spirited away. And there's still room for introspection among all the bombast and the betrayal. I'd argue the best bits aren't the big reveals, but the quiet moments where you learn who the characters are. It's a measure of how good the series is that I can rescue a farting curry superhero one moment and be choking back action tears the next. Number 6 is pretty simple. It's a lovely game to play. Many of the elements in Yakuza feel like they have heritage in classic Sega arcade games. Things like racing, fishing and baseball, and they're all fun. Karaoke, for instance, is deliberately a bit random and unwieldy because it's supposed to be bad. Actually being good at karaoke should be illegal, like being the person who brings their guitar to a house party.
Come take my heart!
Kiryu's allowed to do both because he's the best. I could also do a whole entry about how much I love the fighting, even if it does undermine my point about Yakuza being nice. There's something deeply satisfying about how brutal it all is. Many of the moves have lofty names that prove putting essence of in front of anything always makes it better. Examples include essence of ass crushing, essence of umbrella onslaught, and my favourite, essence of bell ringing. Best of all the monumental scraps are preceded by the standard Yakuza throwdown of tearing off your clothing in a single magical swipe. No, not today, thank you. My last entry is about the places. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the location is the star, because that would be disrespectful to a series of very violent men with love in their hearts. But over time, it's impossible not to fall in love with these dense, interesting recreations of Japanese cities. Yakuza offers a different type of open world. You can cross most of the locations in minutes, but they're crammed with interesting things to do. They buzz with places to visit and people to bump into. You'll discover back streets, parks and shops that all mean something because of what you've done so far. Every time you step into the Serena, for example, a bar that's been a constant in every Yakuza game so far, it has the cozy, wistful familiarity of going home after a long holiday. Yakuza might offer a distilled, selective version of Japanese culture, but I find it irresistible. And then there's the food. I've never played a game that made me want to eat more. I've got a favourite pretend ramen restaurant in Kamurocho, and if I ever go to Japan, the first thing I'm doing is having takoyaki washed down by a whiskey highball. Food is even part of the side stories. You meet celebrity chef Tatsuya Kawagoya in Yakuza 5 and of course help him invent new dishes by sampling local cuisine. And I've made myself hungry just talking about this.
What? Don't look at me.
All these things taken together form the warp and weft of a world impossible not to love. They might be huge, intimidating and shockingly brutal games, but there's depth here too, and every PC owner deserves the chance to play them. And once we're done with these, we can get started on the spin-offs. So there you go, 7 reasons the Yakuza series needs to come to PC. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly features. Thank you very much for watching.